How you doing, everybody?
How you doing, everybody? This is Elvis and Eric, Rick and Elvis.
Rick and Elvis.
And today we're continuing the saga, talking about Rupert on the podcast that never got uploaded. But it will be.
Episode 2.
But it will be. The first episode was us telling the origin story of who Rupert is. And today we're going to be continuing the story of Rupert. So without further ado,
Elvis and Eric.
Without further ado, Eric, tell us the story about how you, Rupert, basically give a little bit of background on how he escaped and became the Rupert that he is today.
So, a little bit of backstory. Rupert escaped his planet, which was about to be blown up by a black hole, or sucked in, rather. And then he was slave traded to this slave driver. Then he escaped somehow. But since he was orbiting a black hole on that planet, it has been centuries since his planet has been blown up. So he's actually like an ancient creature.
Yeah.
And then he goes and finds all of his gear, ancient gear from his people that was so long ago. And then he found a spaceship with his spaceship.
But where did he find it, though, if his planet got sucked into the black hole?
Well, it wasn't a spaceship from their species. It was just a randy.
Oh, so he just found these on a different planet?
Yep. And then he scoured the planets for another few centuries, collecting all these specimens. And he was kind of cool. And he just collected. He's kind of a collector of sorts. Yeah. But anyway, one day, he saw this like weird silver goldish light heading toward a unknown sector of the galaxy, universe, whatever. So he decided to travel there. In the planet was Earth. And he decided to take a specimen, and that's where your Rupert comes in.
So basically,
because that was the light that he saw.
The glowing light was my Rupert.
Yeah.
All right, so take a few steps back. My Rupert is this, as you know from the last podcast, he's this spiritual, basically almost like a kind of a demigod in a way, because he's a being of the 10th dimension, and thus a being of ultimate higher consciousness and wisdom. And so basically how it works in the 10th dimension, they work under a form of government, almost like basically it's very scholarly. Their society is run by philosophers, and the main philosophy, his city is run by a council, and the council members in his district basically believe that you're not supposed to interfere with the affairs of other dimensions and other planets in his dimension or other or lower dimensions, because they believe that in order to become worthy of the wisdom and power of the 11th dimension to be able to ascend, you have to basically suffer. You basically have to do the time and go through all the suffering. But Rupert's like, no, I don't believe in that philosophy, so I'm going to keep trying to save as many suffering people as I can to the best of my ability. So he goes through. He's already on his third strike. He's going to planets and basically toppling these horrible dictators, especially in the 9th dimension. For whatever reason, is the worst one, because basically they're these people of immense extreme power that have just happened to go corrupt, and they, in the 9th dimension, the newcomers to the 9th dimension don't have the same amount of wisdom as these evil overlords there, so they become enslaved and shit. And Rupert lives his days by basically for justice, toppling evil and different planets and stuff. And this is one of the things he did, is he toppled this evil overlord in the ninth dimension. But the council members found out. So here he is today on trial. He's in this chamber. And basically once you get enough strikes against the council, the ways of the council, they basically eliminate your knowledge and wisdom and like consciousness to descend you to a lower dimension, so you have to work your way back up, which takes millions and millions of years across different like lifetimes throughout your consciousness. And basically Rupert, being the ultimate wise guru that he is, right before they do that, he transcends his consciousness into the body of the person who's about to flip the switch, descending his consciousness, stops him from ever doing it and breaks the switch while in that other person's body, and then goes back to his body, breaks out, and escapes, and now he's wanted in that 11th dimension, and now he's just basically journeying, living his life as a nomad. And here we are, he's flying because he somehow discovers about Earth, and he hears about some crazy, like, there's tyranny all over this planet. This planet's about to go to shit. He has this feeling that there's going to be horrible nuclear war and shit all over this beautiful planet Earth. And he looks at it and he's like, out of all the planets I've seen through my life in the third dimension, this is one of the most beautiful that there ever was. So to see the criminals of the horrible people of this dimension, this planet, destroy it out of greed, I have to somehow intervene and stop it. And that's why he was over there. And when he's flying through space in the third dimension, he just looks like this glowing light that's speeding through space at an extremely high speed.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's in his little ship, you know?
Yep.
So then he's going to Earth, and then your Rupert sees my Rupert and basically follows him. And then they both land Kern County, Ridgecrest, California. Elvis and Eric.
Reason.
Elvis and Eric just happen to be on this mountain next to Elvis's house. And that's where...
No, you know where we were?
Where?
We were at the portal.
Oh, yeah, we were at the portal. That's where we were. The portal is this pond in my yard. It's like this pond of water that me and Eric hypothetically imagined if it was this actually portal where if we jumped through it, on the other side was this beautiful oasis in this other dimension where our lives were way cooler than it actually was.
Yep. That's where we were standing.
Yep, that's where we were standing at the time. And then Rupert, both Ruperts, just show up at the same time, same exact place, same exact time, confronted with the same two people, Eric and Elvis. And then that's where you continue the story, Eric.
Well, just a little bit of backstory. Your Rupert going to the third dimension. He was actually going to the third dimension to save my Rupert's planet from being sucked into the black hole.
That's why he was there at the first place.
Yeah, but he was too late. So,
yeah,
that's why he was there in the first place.
So then he decided to go to Earth after that.
He decided to go to Earth after that anyway. Because my Rupert saw him going from the sector of where his planet was, and he decided to follow him for information about his lost people. It's kind of like Superman in a way.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But anyway, Eric and Elvis are sitting at the portal in Ridgecrest, California, and they see this glowing light and this dark shadow in the middle of the light. It's kind of like a big yellow donut coming from the sky. But anyway, the donut separates, so it's just this white light and this black thing, this black shadow, and they land on two different sides of the portal. And out steps your Rupert, the godlike being from the 10th dimension.
Well, he doesn't even step. He kind of phases out.
He kind of phases out of it.
Yeah.
And he's there. And then my Rupert actually does it the conventional way. Actually opens up the cockpit and takes a step out. It's kind of scary looking. Because you know what he looks like from the last video.
Yeah.
But anyway, the two Ruperts kind of stare at each other weirdly.
Almost like they feel like they're connected in a way, but they can't really put their finger on it.
And then they try to look at the two little Earthlings, aka Eric and Elvis, who are just baffled.
We're just like, what the fuck? What the hell's going on right now? What the hell is this shit? And they both have saxophones, so we're like, wait, what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
The hell?
Whoa, what the heck? But anyway, the two Ruperts, like, talking their native tongue at first, and we're like, what? Yeah, and anyway, your Rupert actually goes like, oh wait, they can't understand me. They're just third dimension beings.
Yeah.
So they actually, like, he touches your forehead and, like, learns English. Well, they actually already knew, but he didn't have to do that, so.
Yeah.
So he's like, hello, Elvis and Eric.
And we're like, wait, what? You speak English? What?
I speak English because I know English because I know all.
Except one trait about, like, I think my Rupert, now, if I'm mistaken, I think it was your Rupert too. They weren't actually talking. They were just talking. We were just hearing them in our minds. Remember?
Yeah.
Like
But the Ruperts like to conventionally talk to just not freak out people.
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
He's like, I know all because I am the 10th dimension being called Rupert.
What does your Rupert say then?
My Rupert is kind of like, if you can imagine this, like, deep, really deep voice. He's like, Eric and Elvis, I have come to see this 10th dimensional being. He has information about my dead planet.
And my name is also Rupert.
My name is also Rupert, by the way, because that was his prison name. It was RU 1719 PR.
T?
There wasn't a T, but he just liked it.
Oh.
He was like, oh yeah, Rupert, that's a good name.
Fair enough.
My name is RU 1919 PR. We're like, we'll just call you Rupert.
Fair enough. So that's what it is.
Because that guy's name is Rupert too.
Well, my Rupert was going by his third dimensional name from all those generations ago.
Yep.
Back when he was a third dimensional being, he just happened to be a dude named Rupert.
Human.
Yeah. He happened to be a human named Rupert. And yeah.
But anyway, I don't know what their first adventure was. They got the Ruperts talked for a while. Yeah, Rupert enlightened my Rupert on what happened to his planet.
Yeah.
It was actually some big scandal.
Black hole.
Where some dude who knew how to harness black holes, he hated that planet, and he just wanted to destroy it.
Jeez.
So my Rupert vowed to find this guy and kill him.
So now, alright, I guess I'll pick up the story from here. So from here, this is where, because your Rupert is basically not only seeking for, like, basically his collection, but also seeking for, like, knowledge about the members of his species to see if there's any left, and to find the origins of why his planet got destroyed and what happened to it and why it happened. And so what basically it is. And then my Rupert is basically this guy who investigates trying to stop tyranny and like evil throughout the universes. And so he finds out about this evil warlord from a different planet who somehow figured out how to harness power of black holes, like you said, and he knows how to place them in order to destroy entire planets. And he used it and just annihilated your planet.
Yep.
And Rupert's like, shit, dude. And then he asks my Rupert, he's like, are there any left? Am I the only one? And my Rupert is like, he basically says, well, I think as you are on a slave ship, there were some other slave ships which went to different locations scattered across the quadrant. So, if we adventure those different planets, there's possibilities that we can still find the slaves. I'm not sure if any have escaped, but one thing's for sure, I know there's still slaves out there. They're definitely not from your generation. They're from many, many generations after you, but they are still the same species. So here they are, and then after that, obviously, they start conversing with Eric and Elvis, basically knowing more about Earth, because for something about Earth, they find fascinating. Something about it, the two of them just find fascinating. So then,
let's just say, like, because Earth is surrounding, like, the yellow sun, and it has this magnetic field, they can't know everything about Earth because it's blocking their, like, telepathic abilities.
Fair enough.
And that's why they're so entranced.
Yeah.
By the special little blue rock.
Yeah. But anyway, so then the two Ruperts are realizing that the reason that none of these humans have the same telepathic abilities that a lot of aliens do is because of these reasons. It's because of all these astrological and geological phenomena about the planet. And they think it's kind of mundane and amazing in a way, but also very beautiful. And so they...
Simplistic and innocent.
Simplistic and innocent, but tragic that it's on the verge of possibly getting poo-pooed on, basically. Yeah, and so they talked to Eric, and since Eric are the first Earthlings they ever met, they gifted him with some of the knowledge and wisdom, and they gave him ultimate saxophone powers. So now me and Eric are like the best saxophone players ever, basically. And then they all played saxophone together. And then after that,
for some reason,
Rupert basically decide to adventure together. They couldn't bring Elvis and Eric along on this one because they feared it might be too dangerous. So that's where Elvis and Eric basically leave the story for now. It's not going to be the end of them. They will be later in the story, but at this point, Rupert start heading to where Rupert's planet was destroyed. And they're basically going to slave planet after slave planet. And they find one of the slave drivers on a different planet. It was pretty damn far away from where Rupert's planet got destroyed, and also the planet that he was enslaved on. It was like on the opposite side of that quadrant. Because that's how they measure it. It's like quadrants in space.
Yep.
So then they're over there, and then they actually free these slaves because this slave driver, he's just basically doing his job. He's not as evil as Rupert's slave driver was. And he's just not the headmaster. They're basically going to, after this, they're basically going to find the slave trader, like the guy who's running the whole slave trade, and they're going to try to take him out. But anyway, this slave trader, they find him, and all they simply do is they literally just transfer him to another planet. Far, far away. They literally just put him on another planet and let those other people deal with him. Because he has nothing there, and there's nothing he can really do except for survive now on this planet he's never seen. So then they free all these slaves. They free all these slaves by just taking them on their ships, because like my Rupert has a way of like he doesn't, obviously it's just a one person ship, but how he can do it is like he can basically just. But anyway, long story short, Rupert they take these slaves and they transfer and they bring them to your Rupert's headquarters, his base.
Yep. Base.
And they basically talk to them and question them, and that's when you pick up the story.
Well, Rupert's base is basically his giant collector ship. It's a paradise for whoever he collects. It's like their home territory. Yeah. But it's like simplistic creatures. Like kind of like a really awesome zoo.
So it's basically his own planet, right? Like
it's
he just
not
found
the size of a planet, but
Oh, so it's just like a little mini planet kind of somewhere that he found, and he just decided to own it.
Yeah, he built it. He built it himself.
Oh, built the planet
With the help of the other Rupert, your Rupert.
Oh, all right.
So yeah, that's where we pick up, and we have the slave drivers in the headquarters now. Is that what we're doing?
No, they took the slave drivers. They took out the slave drivers. No, they took out the one slave driver for this group of like 50 slaves that was working on a mine.
Well, then do we take the slaves to the...
Yeah, what they did is they took those slaves to your Rupert's base.
All right. So they question them, and basically what they all say is, like, there's like a faction of all these different slave traders, and one is more dangerous than the next, and at the top there's this like head slave master, but his identity and his location are unknown. So basically your Rupert and my Rupert try to find this guy, going from slave planet to slave planet, because there's so many, because there's a giant faction going around.
But wait, let me ask, what was your Rupert's reaction when he finally got to talk to members of his own species after so long?
Well, they haven't found the members of his species yet. That's on the last planet.
Oh, these were slaves of a different species, basically?
Yeah, they were like different species.
Oh.
A lot of them.
All right.
Except none of them were Rupert's species.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, but so basically on the last planet, they start taking out these slave traders, basically putting them on this one planet, this one uninhabitable planet. Just basically some ice world.
Jeez.
I know, it kind of sucks, but anyway, they go through the ranks, and then they finally find the last slave master, and that's Rupert's main nemesis. I forget what his name was.
I don't remember either.
But it turns out that he was actually a Rupert slave trader. He's just super old. And he's like in one of those floating wheelchairs.
So is he some sort of being that like just doesn't age or something? Or he just lives really long?
He just lives really long. He's like 1,000 years old or something.
Jeez.
He's just super old for some reason. He's like, yes, I'm super evil. He's like super evil, and he keeps all these slaves for some reason. And Rupert finally sees members of his own species, and he finally talks to them. And then the species don't know who he is. And after like 1,000 years, they're all like, "You're super old. We heard about you. You're this one guy from the southern hemisphere of our planet who was like a king almost." And that's
But got captured.
That got captured, and his memory was wiped, basically, because they wanted him to be a mindless slave.
Yeah.
So through all this, Rupert learns his identity, and his name is actually King Rupert.
It's just coincidentally.
Just coincidentally.
That's funny.
So my Rupert and your Rupert are like, yeah, we finally stopped this big bad in the third dimension. And they finally save all the species. And they make this, because your Rupert has the powers to make this one world. They just make a whole world, like a paradise, for all the freed slaves, who are now the new planet's inhabitants.
Oh, that's awesome. So what is your Rupert's reaction when he finally sees the members of his species?
He was like super excited and surprised that some of them still lived. There was only like 2 or 3 of them. So
2 or 3?
So he was like super endangered.
Why were so many of them dead?
Because of the black hole.
I know, but wasn't there more slaves than that though? Did they just all?
Yeah, but there was a few ships that crashed because of the black hole because they ran into.
So basically, the guy who planted the black hole is different than the slave trader guy.
Yeah, they're different people.
They just happened to be at the same exact time, almost.
Yeah.
So basically, most of the slave ships that captured all these slaves, right after they captured them, they died in the black hole.
Yep.
But basically, Rupert's ship was one of the only that was...
Because it was going in the opposite direction of the black hole. It was already pretty far away, so...
But is it possible that there's some other vigilante out there that is like Rupert, and he escaped the slave... He escaped his slave colony?
Yeah, probably. Somewhere.
So Rupert's mission's not completely over.
Nope. Hey, there's your Rupert's. And that's where Elvis picks up.
Alright, so basically after, our two Ruperts basically take down all these ancient slave traders. And these slave traders, by the way, they're like, most of them are in the mining industry of different planets.
Yep.
And the planet, because like the person who... the slave traders are all from the same planet, and it's just basically like a very cruel group of people on that planet, and they just take slaves from all over, and they mine the resources of other planets. Because
so basically, we just stopped the main group of villains.
Because the thing about their planet is they've used most of their resources up. They became so industrial and high tech that they don't have any resources left. All the minerals, the rare minerals, are gone, and so they have to basically. Their decision was just to send out slave traders and capture slaves from all kinds of different civilizations, and just mine different planets.
Yep.
So that's what it was. But then the two Ruperts just like kicked those guys' asses. So. Yep. They're not done with them yet because the planet is actually going to keep employing slave traders. I mean, the planet's probably going to keep employing slave traders, though.
Yep.
But we did catch some of them, so yeah, some of the slave drivers.
So tell them how the Ruperts went back to Earth and met up with Eric and Elvis again.
So basically, after Rupert was talking to the three members of his species, and one of them he took as his apprentice, though. One of the young Ruperts that was like an escaped slave. The other two Ruperts were like dating. Yeah, I know it's weird, but they basically had this quest to keep their species running. I know it's weird, but can you blame them?
I mean, I can't blame them.
I mean, maybe
there's going to be some weird hybrid species.
They probably will do that.
Probably.
But yeah. But anyway, the other one, because he was just this third wheel, and it's like, dude. So he asked, because he actually looked up to Rupert, the Legends of Rupert, and he wanted to be like him, the great legendary adventurer. So basically, Rupert kept him as an apprentice, and he brought him to, his headquarters where he keeps all his collection. Mm-hmm. And he basically, there was like a week span where they were just training this guy, training him how to fight and shit. And he basically just left him there at the headquarters to defend it a little bit and just kind of maintain a little bit. I mean, he's got a crew, but he just kept him as part of the crew. And then they're probably going to be meeting up with this guy some more, this little Rupert apprentice. But yeah.
All right.
So after that, they left Rupert apprentice at the headquarters, left the base. And then they went back to Earth to talk to Eric and Elvis and told them. They told us about all the stuff that happened with these slave traders.
But it's like a few years later because they were doing the slave trader stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, because that took a long ass time doing that.
Yep.
Yeah, because they lost some concepts of time because of like being next to the black holes and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that long of a time because of the black holes and stuff, but it felt like years.
Yeah. So yeah, they went back and met older older Eric and Elvis, and they talked to him, told him basically what the last few years were, how they finally found some more members of Rupert's species, and they're basically hanging out. And then they decided to take Eric and Elvis to the headquarters and show them around. And they started teaching Eric and Elvis as their apprentices then.
Nice.
And so me and you both now wielded
legendary
saxophones that we can now use as weapons the way that our Ruperts do. So we started doing that, and so then after like a while of us training, me, you, the Rupert species apprentice, and then my Rupert and your Rupert decided to go on an adventure together because me, you, and the other what's your Rupert species called again?
I forgot. Let's just name him, the other guy.
What do you want to name him?
Let's name him Carl.
Carl? I want to name him Quazali.
Alright, Quazali.
Yeah.
How about Quiche? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. What do you want to name?
I don't care. Let's keep with the Rupert theme and name him Roberto.
What the fuck? Roberto? Really?
Yeah.
Alright. If you want to name him Roberto. Anyway, so whatever. We're just going to call him Roberto then. So Elvis, Eric, Roberto, and the two Ruperts decided to go on an adventure. And we're becoming friends with Roberto. We think he's a cool guy. Pretty cool guy, right? You gotta admit, he's pretty cool. I like him.
Roberto is awesome.
Yeah, but we go on an adventure. And this next place we go to this planet. And it's like this very watery planet. And your Rupert, since he's like this collector of different worlds, and my Rupert mostly just deals with the like spiritual shit, and he can do all this other crazy stuff, but he can't equip mere mortals like us of the third dimension with equipment that we need to like breathe underwater and stuff. He can only like transfer us to different dimensions and things, and equip us with ultimate wisdom and knowledge. But your Rupert gives us equipment and shit.
Yep.
So he gave us these water suits so that we can breathe underwater and swim super fast, because this planet is mostly water. Like, there's small portions of land, but most of the people there live underwater, and they breathe underwater.
They're like dolphin people.
They're not even like dolphin people. They can just swim really fast, but they actually walk down on the bottom of the water, because they're less buoyant, so they just sink.
That's cool.
But they can attach like a little gallbladder thing to their back that allows them to swim and stuff really fast.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we go down there because we have our own like gallbladder thing built into the water suit. And
why does it have to be a gallbladder?
Because that's what fish have that allows them to adjust their buoyancy.
Let's just call it a balloon.
Well, it's a balloon.
Fine.
Anyway, we're in these water suits that allow us to breathe underwater and then walk on the bottom of the water and swim really fast. We're all walking around, and we're in this beautiful civilization, but we're talking to people, and like apparently they've all received news that there's this horrible, destroyer of worlds that plans to come to the planet, and he's this sick, twisted freak. And the way he destroys civilizations and destroys worlds is by literally taking away their most crucial resource. So this horrible guy, he plans to literally come to the planet with a huge fleet of ships, like merchant ships, cargo ships and stuff, and just suck all the water dry. Because these people depend on water. They live underwater, so this sick fuck wants to literally kill the civilization by taking away all the water on the planet and leaving it as just a dry rock. So then they're all worried because this is going to be the end of the world for them. This is the end of their fucking life. And these water people, they look pretty cool. They're all blue. They're all blue and they have like scales. But
So
they
they're
look
like fish people.
they're basically like fish people, but they don't look like, you know, SpongeBob SquarePants fish people.
Oh god.
That'd be weird. I mean,
That would be weird.
it's weird. They have like it's like their body can do different things depending on the situation. So if they need to swim very fast, their feet that they're walking on turn into like fins. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
yeah,
they're like frog feet.
almost like, yeah, in a way.
Almost.
But yeah, they can
In a way.
like change things and yeah. But so yeah, they're really weird and we
Or
talked
they
to
could be like mermaid people.
yeah. That's kind of what they are in a way. Except their legs aren't always attached. They can what I meant is like they can unattach and reattach.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So they go and they talk to the intelligence, the central intelligence, like their military people on the planet.
CIA.
Yeah, and we talked to them, and they're like, "Yeah, our military is not advanced to be able to counteract this guy. This is an intergalactic terrorist of intense magnitude. Luckily, we have good intelligence people out on different planets and stuff that knew about this guy." And that's the only reason we know about him. But we know that if he comes here, we won't be able to stop him. And luckily, we have heard of you guys. Like we said, we have great intelligence spies on other planets and things. So we already know about you and Rupert, you two Ruperts. So we're going to have to, like, send you guys hopefully you guys can help. So here we are. That was basically our key in. And
First adventure.
Yeah. They told us that this horrible intergalactic terrorist lives on this one planet called Zoran.
Zoran?
Yeah, Zoran.
All right.
And they go over there, and it's fucking terrible. The planet is shit, dude. It's a fucking ass shit planet. It's all purple rocks.
No.
The whole thing is like
Tag
purple.
me in. Tag
All
me
right,
in.
This is where you start.
Okay, here's my vision for their planet. It's really sick and twisted.
All right.
Okay, so the whole planet is one giant volcano.
Fuck.
And there's like some kind of what was I gonna say? Like this pitfall, like this giant, like think of the planet, and then there's like a circle around it, and inside it is like a giant super volcano. In the inside, it's like a giant crater with a volcano inside. But anyway, dotted on the walls are like cities.
Of the volcano?
Yeah, like on the inside.
Jeez, so these people are like fire resistant?
Yeah, whenever the volcano erupts, like a protective barrier goes around the whole city. That's pretty cool.
Huh.
It's like the bubble shield
Yeah.
almost. But anyway, the rest of the planet, if you go into the surface, it's like toxic to breathe. But on the inside, it's fine for some reason. But yeah, that's how I imagine it.
So what happens when they go over there?
Oh, when they go over there, they see this species. They're all like, they look like a war tattered like race.
Yeah.
Like just think of
They're very warlock like people.
like think of orcs kind of, but they're even like more war torn people.
Okay. What do
It's
they
like
look
super-
like? Are they red or something or what?
I was gonna make him like a maroon color. Yeah, red.
Like a reddish maroon?
Yeah.
Alright.
And there's different shades. Some of them can be black. Some of them can be like a lighter red.
So some of them are like almost pink, and then some of them are really dark red, like almost black.
Yeah.
Alright.
But anyway, we go to this planet and we see all the people, and we're not welcome there, so they chase us away. So your Rupert has the ability to like cloak us, so we can observe the planet, but not actually talk to the people.
Yeah.
because they'll just chase us away and or threaten to kill us
So
if we ever come.
we're basically just like in a spirit form right now, or what?
Yeah, and we're just observing the city, the giant like circular volcano city.
Yeah.
And they found out a way to like harness gravity so they can stick to the side,
Hmm.
so they don't have to live on the surface and die because it was so toxic.
Jeez.
But anyway, because they knew how to harness gravity, we were like skeptical about the race because we were like, oh, these guys are bad and they know how to harness gravity. So we found out about their leader, and it just so happens that the leader was the guy that killed Rupert's planet with the black hole, and they know how to harness gravity because of the harnessing the black hole. They're just so advanced, and they have super smart scientists.
Jeez.
And then, yeah, and then we see one of the slave traders go to the leader. I forget his name. The guy that controls black holes. And he's like, I found a bunch of slaves for you to help build your new black hole machine and the new water sucking machine to rid that planet of water.
And it just sucks it via gravity, right?
Yeah.
Just sucks the water. Like, it's not like a water pump on Earth. Like,
Yeah,
it
no,
actually, like, instantly fills the tank.
So if you look at the planet, the water would just float away into all these different ships. So the black hole guy, I want to give him a name though.
Weren't we gonna name him Chlorgon at one point?
Oh, Chlorgon. Well, I wouldn't name him Chlorgon.
Right.
But anyway, Chlorgon decides to go ahead with his plan and rid the water planet of all the water. And so the Ruperts and Roberto and Eric and Elvis decide they have to stop him. So basically, they amass this giant army of the native water people in all these different like ships, and they try to fight Chlorgon and his fleet of water sucking ships, and it's an immense battle.
Jeez. So do they win, or like, is there a lot of casualties on the?
Yeah, there's a lot of casualties.
Jeez.
One of the casualties was Roberto.
No, Roberto already died, dude. He was one of the last members of Rupert's species, as
And
we know
Elvis.
of. No, Elvis did
Just
not
kidding.
die.
Just kidding.
I feel bad that Roberto even died,
Okay, no, not Roberto. The
but
leader
he's
of the water
crucially
people.
injured.
Yeah, the leader of the water people dies in an epic last-ditch effort to stop Chlorgon, but Chlorgon escapes with his water-sucking machine.
Because here's the thing about the water guy, the leader of the water people. He's almost like the alter ego of Chlorgon, since Chlorgon's like the leader of that world, and he's the ultimate horrible shitbag. The leader of the water planet is the most kindest, most noble leader, and like George Washington, he was the only leader that would actually lead his own troops into battle. Because most world leaders, they don't actually go into battle. They just kind of
Yeah, they just send them.
send them in.
Troops.
But this guy actually led his troops into battle in true nobility because he was an excellent military strategist and fighter.
Yep,
But his ship got blown up.
sadly. And Roberto is badly injured.
Yeah.
So Rupert's, Eric, and Elvis take Roberto back to the base.
Well, let me just describe kind of what puts the battle at kind of like a halt and causes Chlorgon and his men to retreat. Basically, what happens is my Rupert decides to use like an immense portion of his life force on the third dimension to do this extreme blow, this crowd control blow that basically, like, you know how he can affect people specifically, so he can make a noise that only specific people can hear and other people wouldn't be able to hear.
Yep.
He plays on his cosmic saxophone this deafening, like, noise that basically only the people on Chlorgon's side could hear, and it makes them all go crazy. So a lot of them start, like, you know, just colliding into each other because they start going crazy and they don't know how to fly their ships all of a sudden. And the noise is so deafening that they can't even concentrate anyway. Yep. But luckily Chlorgon and some of his main men saw that coming anyway. So they had special equipment that could alter Rupert's ability to affect them. So they didn't really hear the sound, but when they saw that most of their troops getting fucked up, they decided to retreat. But the thing is, my Rupert, like, doing a thing like that of such immense magnitude is like trying on his life force, because it just like takes so much energy for him to be able to do that.
Jeez.
So yeah, he's nearly incapacitated momentarily after that. So
Roberto and Eric and Elvis go back to the base.
Yep.
And then Rupert send Eric and Elvis back to Earth.
All right.
And that was their first adventure.
And Chlorgon's still out there though, but luckily they saved the planet.
Chlorgon's still at large.
Luckily they saved the planet. The planet lost a little bit of water, but not enough to actually like harm them very much. So.
Yeah.
But Chlorgon's got more plans up his sleeve, so you'll be hearing more from Chlorgon.
Yep. But the Ruperts have to heal Roberto.
Yeah.
On the ship.
Luckily, your Rupert has so much medicinal equipment that he's collected over the years.
Yep.
So, yeah.
But Eric and Elvis don't want to go back to Earth.
Yeah. And the thing about my Rupert is that if Roberto were about to die, my Rupert would basically be able to encapsulate his consciousness before he died, and at least transfer it into a different body. So even if Roberto died, his essence would still be with us. So he would basically be able to come back as a different person in a way.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be the same. Because we all love Roberto.
Because we all love Roberto, and it'd be like talking to another person. Because, like, his personality would change, and we'd have to retrain him and everything.
Yeah. So we don't want to do that.
Yeah. That's just a last-ditch effort.
But anyway, that was our installation of Rupert 1.0.
Rupert Adventures, Episode 1. The first one was Episode 0.
Yeah, that was the pilot.
That was like the pilot, basically describing the characters, Rupert, telling who they were.
I think we introduced some interesting characters, the slave trader, Roberto, and Chlorgon.
Yeah, but, dude, in some of the later episodes, shit's gonna get real intense because basically my Rupert is gonna have to lead you guys into some shit that you don't even comprehend, because we're gonna have to go into higher dimensions.
For the High Council?
Yeah. And basically my Rupert is going to have to train you guys, train all of us in, like, higher consciousness.
Oh, gosh.
And so that we can be able to take form and be able to control ourselves in them.
Yep.
It's going to be intense.
But it's all worth it to stop Chlorgon.
Because Chlorgon's a fucking piece of shit. And I hope we find some more of Rupert's species somewhere.
Yeah, there's going to be a lost episode. Lost in Space.
Of the podcast?
Yeah, just part of the Rupert series.
Yeah, there's going to be a Lost in Space episode. And there's
about Rupert's long-lost brother.
Yeah. Because I think there's also going to be an episode someday about basically Rupert. My Rupert has a small following on the 11th dimension, because not everyone believes what the council believes. Some people believe in the philosophy that he believes in, that they're basically like, whether you're worthy of the 11th dimension has nothing to do with how much suffering you endure over the years. It's merely about the wisdom you acquire.
Yep. And saving the souls, the damned souls.
So, basically, we're going to have to revisit that and find some of my Rupert's followers.
But that should be fun. Introducing new villains.
Yep.
Other than Chlorgon.
Chlorgon's a good villain, though. He's an asshole.
He's pretty good.
It's a good villain. He really is. What kind of fucked up piece of shit literally tries to annihilate a civilization by taking away... That'd be like some alien coming over here and taking away air. Taking away oxygen.
Jeez.
So that we all instantly suffocate.
And he killed Rupert's planet. The multicolored planet.
But I speculate that Chlorgon, since we were in the battle, he's going to identify that we were humans, and he's actually going to try to take down Earth. I speculate... In a different episode, I speculate that may happen.
You have to find Eric and Elvis.
So, when that does happen, there's going to be a battle for Earth, and it's going to be a crazy one.
We should start a comic series.
Well, that's kind of what this is, isn't it? The Adventures of Rupert and Rupert. Dude, this is unique shit. This is some unique stuff.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has come up with this.
No.
I mean, it has some similarities to other comic book characters, but mainly it's pretty
unique.
Yeah,
but anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed. Yeah, just we'll keep making some more episodes of The Adventures of Rupert. It's not like a conventional podcast. It's basically just me and Eric storytelling, making it up as we go along, but I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it too.
Actually, the original pilot episode was recorded so long ago, but we never really had much time to continue the series, but we decided instead of actually writing out a script, we were just going to basically just wing it, because it's easier that way, you know?
Make up stuff, brainstorm as we go along.
You know, after a while, if we ever develop this story more along the lines, and we're actually in a position where we can actually work together, not being just on Skype, maybe we can actually write real scripts and stuff.
That would be cool.
What if this story blew up, though? What if this story blew up and someone wanted to actually draw a comic book for us?
That'd be cool.
It would be cool, wouldn't it?
And then the comics were successful.
And we got famous and they made movies about it?
Yep. Rupert and Rupert. Or back to that one, Eric and Elvis.
That would actually be really awesome, wouldn't it?
Yep. I wish it would happen.
What would you do if since we didn't really copyright it or anything, someone heard this, stole our idea, and then passed it off as their own and made a movie about it and got rich off of our idea?
Aww.
And then sued us?
I hate them.
I'd be depressed, wouldn't you?
Yes. What?
So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
I'll see you later.